everyone, welcome to our very first podcast. My name is Katie.
I'm Jasmine. I'm Kylie.
And I'm Kashia.
And we're sisters, if you guys did not know, and we wanted to create Sis to Sis because we actually have talks like this very often, and we decided to kind of start one so those of you who don't have siblings or not a lot of sisters or not a lot of friends can come and listen to our podcast and just feel comfortable.
And even though our podcast name is Sis to Sis, this isn't to exclude anyone who isn't of the female gender. We want to be inclusive of everyone, so regardless of your gender identity, you can feel free to listen to this. We want to provide a safe place for everyone to come talk to, because we know that not everyone is fortunate enough to have good relationships with people in their lives. So we decided to make this podcast for that.
And I just wanted to say that I hope in time we can get to know you guys a lot better, and you guys can get to know us a lot better too. And also maybe our personalities can kind of start to shine through, so you guys can kind of tell us apart. But I'm really excited because this is a place that I want you guys to feel, safe in. And just like our podcast name is called Sis to Sis, it's just going to be full of heartfelt conversations, lighthearted. Maybe we'll talk about some darker, deeper conversations as well. But we're going to be talking about some random things at times. But we're excited and we're glad to have you guys along for the ride.
And with that, if you guys have any discussions or topics you guys would like us to talk about, feel free to leave them down below in the comments. We will be more than happy to discuss anything. And if you guys have a question about what we discussed and would like us to talk more about it, we'll do some behind the scenes, or we'll do another quick segment about some questions you guys asked. And with that, we're going to go ahead and move on with our next topic, which is talking about where we stand in our siblings. For example, who's the oldest, and just how we feel about our siblings, and just kind of what the word siblings means to us. So who would like to start?
I guess I can start. I'm the oldest of the 8 of us. Not that that matters, because I do think that being the oldest does not mean you're the most important, sibling. There is a total of 8 of us, like I mentioned, or I don't think we mentioned that before.
Yeah, we have it.
Yeah. So there's actually 4 younger ones, and here and there, I believe they'll pop in an episode or something like that. But for the most part, the 4 of us are closer in age, so that's probably why we relate to each other a lot. Mm-hmm. So being a sibling to me is a luxury, because a lot of people are not fortunate enough to be a sibling. And to me, I don't ever take it for granted. Yeah, never. I take that back. Sometimes I feel like when you go through changes in your life, especially your preteens, being a rebel myself for a while, I'm not going to lie, I'll admit it. I was a rebel for a few years, but if it wasn't for my siblings kind of grounding me, I don't know where I'd honestly be at. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys, being the oldest is a lot on your shoulders, which I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to. And I think you can't help but sometimes fall and just continue falling. And I thank my siblings a lot for, being there to help me and keep me grounded while I was at my lowest. So I don't want to say siblings are friends, because I feel like friends are a choice. You can choose who you want as friends, but as siblings, you can't choose who's your sibling. And siblings just have that special bond that no one can really touch. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how mad you are at your sibling, doesn't matter who ate the last ice cream, doesn't matter who ate the last piece of the chantilly cake, or who took my sweater. Because at the end of the day, you still go home and you still ask your sibling, you want to go watch a movie, or you want to play games, or you want to watch anime. So, it's just a relationship that's indescribable. And I can go on and on talking about it. But, I guess we can start next with the oldest one or youngest one, however you guys see it.
So I'm the second oldest. I'm Kashia, and I think being a sibling to me is just taking care of someone who you cherish. And I feel like everybody's definition of a sibling is different, but for me, I think that my siblings are very irreplaceable. I don't think that anybody in my life or who I meet in the future will ever take the place of what the 7 of my siblings have in my heart. And so I think it's just about being mature enough or loving them enough to know when to apologize and just when to play your role in life. So if one sibling is lacking, that's the time or day that you have to pick up for them. And it's not about like I did this for you, so you have to do that. Sometimes it's going to be just like a regular relationship. There might be days where you're doing 80% of the work and the rest are doing 20, and vice versa. So I feel like you just have to be very selfless in order to have like a very good and healthy relationship with your siblings. And you can't view everything as a competition. And I'm just fortunate enough that my siblings always support each other, and we don't ever compete with each other. And I'm fortunate that they all we all love each other the same amount. And we just hope that by listening to our podcast, hopefully you could feel closer to us and we could provide some sort of comfort for you guys.
And with that, I'm gonna go next. I'm Katie. Obviously you guys are watching from my channel, and if you guys don't know me a little bit by now, you guys will start to know me and my sisters real soon. I'm the third oldest of the family, like a lot of my sisters mentioned. Well, my 2 other, what the heck. We have 7 other, we have a total of 8 siblings. So those other ones are gonna come here and there. But I just wanted to re-mention just in case you guys are a little confused. But yeah, I'm the third oldest, and I feel like my role in this whole sibling is I was like the one who was, I feel like I was like a little rebel at one point too. I was the one who always started fights, and I feel like I instigated a lot of arguments as well.
I agree.
And like our siblings, like we may sound as though like we're like super civil with one another, but nah, like that's not it. And like we're just a little uncomfortable on I guess recording ourselves now, but you will definitely see our real true relationship grow and progress as we start getting a little more comfortable. And we're not saying that we're being fake right now either. We're just rather starting to get used to this whole dynamic and being with each other and recording with each other and not making faces to each other or like laughing and giggling at certain parts of like the segments. But yeah, I actually started this idea to create this podcast because I wanted to talk about personal things that we've experienced, but I felt like I wanted to talk about it with my siblings because that's what we went through that brought us really close together, from like our parents' divorce to our dad dying to like having like toxic families and or like having one of us being like really bad in the family and having to pick up after their slack, whether that was like through like my anger management or through Kylie's, like what she mentioned, her rebellious phase, and just a lot of us having to pick up with each other. And you will definitely see our relationship, and hopefully you guys can relate to it, or if not, hopefully it can provide you a sort of comfort and just make you feel really welcomed. And if you have any questions during our like podcast, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below if we missed something or you need some clarifications, because we'll be more than happy to clear things up.
So this is Jasmine speaking now. I'm the 4th oldest in the family, and I want to go back to what Kate talked about when she said she wanted to start the podcast. My sisters and us, after a big experience or like after something crazy has happened in our family, we kind of had this quiet sit down talk, heart to heart moment. And I didn't realize how important those were to me until I started counting them up. And also another thing that Kylie touched upon was that not everyone has the luxury of that. So I wanted to create a podcast or to start a podcast that anyone who doesn't have that can just play while they're sitting in the bed or while they're doing something. I feel like they're part of something.
And as I said before, this podcast, we're not going to talk just about like serious or really like dark or negative things, because of course, even though we had our fair share of dealing with some shit, a lot of us do want to talk about some lighthearted things, like, and we have so many episodes ready for you about like more lighthearted things, as well as like our darkest times during, like, of course, like I mentioned, like our divorce, my dad's death, and etc., etc. But for now, we're gonna be talking a little bit more about siblings, since this is our first episode and our first big topic, and just kind of how much we kind of appreciate each other. And I think we can just all kind of talk about how much we've changed, or how much our relationships has our siblings have helped us change as people. And I think I can start first, since of course I had spoken about how like anger management how I had anger management, and I feel like that did affect our relationship together. And it wasn't until I went to therapy last year that I realized how much my anger controlled me, and I just let it, and rather than not letting it define me, or I let it define me. And I think that's where I always went wrong, and I couldn't turn to my siblings to kind of like vent to, because I felt like they didn't understand since they weren't angry. And I remember at one point I told my boyfriend, like, why am I the only one who's going to therapy? Like, all my sisters went through the same shit I did, so why is it that I'm going to therapy and they're not? And I remember I told my therapist this too, and she was just like, it seems like I blame a lot of my like emotions on my siblings, and I need to take accountability for that, because like it's not my siblings' fault. It's actually like, it's me. Like, I need to learn how to like process my emotions healthily, and rather than blaming someone. And I think that's a lot of my problems with my siblings, is I tend to blame them for a lot of the little things that happen, like what Kylie has said, like who stole the last pizza, ice cream, chicken, sushi. And you just don't realize how much you blame each other until you guys aren't talking anymore. And you're like, shit, we're not even like on good terms. Like, my sisters all moved out. Like, I don't get to see, like, well, we're not gonna have any like babies for a hot minute. But if it gets to that point where we can't even talk to each other like we're freaking sisters, I think that would be like the most heartbreaking thing. And I think that's why I learned to really truly cherish and appreciate my siblings. And that's why I always drive here almost like every other day, even though I don't live with them, because like I just truly appreciate my time with them more than hang out with my friends sometimes, because like I feel like they're kind of my friends, and I feel like they give me the best advice possible too, because I know like our friends always look for the best in us, but I feel like siblings, like, they want to see us be better than that. And I feel like that's why I appreciate my siblings, and that's how much like they've changed me as a person.
Yeah. And you know, I get a lot of my own friends and people that I run into mention like, oh, you know, you and your sister seem like really close, and you guys seem like you guys have a strong bond. And to be honest, when I hear, the first thing I think about when I hear those things is like, really? Like, you think we're close? Which is not saying like we're not close, but it's just like, oh, they're just my siblings. I never thought of it like that, you know. I never thought of looking at it from a different perspective. But I guess we are kind of close. And I didn't realize that until I realized all of the things that we've gone through. So it's definitely possible. I think we've also mentioned, or if we haven't already, growing up as kids, especially since we're all girls, and since most of us actually have fire signs in our birth chart, which we can get into later on as well. But a lot of us have fire signs in us, so if you can just imagine fights were pretty crazy growing up. Even if it wasn't even if it wasn't verbally, it was a lot of physical fights.
Yeah.
So
But we stopped.
Yeah.
No more though.
So just thinking about how much we've evolved as kids to where we're like adults now, it's crazy. So yeah, we weren't initially really close, and we'll mention it as time goes on. After my dad's passing and after my parents' divorce at a really young age has definitely affected us. And I kind of just want to mention that also it's okay to admit that you aren't the best sibling. And it's okay that you're not the best person too, because we're constantly evolving as adults, and we will continue to evolve as adults. And if you can name me a perfect human, then name me one, because I can't seem to name one at all. And I hope that, I can only to become a better person, and I thank a lot of my siblings for that. So, yeah. You guys want to say something?
And I think for me, it's only natural as you grow older as a person to be closer to your sibling, because the older you get, the more life experience that you go through, and the only person who might be going through the similar things as you is your sibling. So, you can't hate someone that you could relate to, and I think you can't hate someone that you're close to, so, or like that you could relate to. So I think that's one of the reasons why my siblings and I get along well too, is because at the end of the day, the only people that you do have in your life is your siblings.
Like Kylie said, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, because I only have like 2 friends. But like the people that do know me and my sisters, they're always like, you guys seem hella close. And like, I mean, we are close. We played Animal Crossing together for like, I don't know, like 300 hours. We share TikTok videos. Yeah. We have a group chat that's active. And like, I know some people only have like group chats like for like family events. So like, it is something that I'm blessed to have. And a lot of it just depends, like, there's no secret to it, but a lot of it is just working on yourself too as a person. Your sister, your siblings are individual people at the end of the day, and you guys are also working on your own problems. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm the 4th oldest, so sometimes I felt stuck, like do I want to be like the cool kid and hang out with my older sisters, or do I want to be like fun and be the cool one and hang out with my younger siblings? So I was always stuck in between. But once I kind of got over that personal battle, I really felt like a lot of weight off my shoulder, and I felt like I just needed to be me. I didn't need to be like the cool younger sister or the cool older sister. I just had to be me as a sister and kind of blend in with both the younger siblings and the older siblings.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of our siblings have changed throughout the years, and we'll talk more about that as we dive into like more serious topics. And the reason we don't want to touch on the subjects as like divorce and my dad's death is because it's such a long story and they're super long. But regardless, our siblings are super close now. And we're going to go into some question rounds so that you guys do get to know us a little more and just kind of see,
loosen the
vibes. Loosen the vibes a little bit, because I'm sure that like it's gotten a little tense, or just like something to like have a laugh about. But our first question is, I'm pretty sure you guys are curious, like who is the mean one or like the bitchy one? So what y'all think?
I think there's like 2 different bitches. There's like a bitch like you hurt me emotionally. Well, no, like there's like the bitchy,
a bitchy like, to strangers, true. And then a bitchy to people who are close, and then for the people who are bitchy or like meaner to strangers would have to be Katie, hands down. I think everybody could agree on that. Yeah. Just because Katie's more outspoken and she won't hide her feelings, whereas the rest of us are a bit more conscious of what we're not saying that Katie isn't, but Katie is more willing to be speak what she has to speak her mind in.
And it helps.
Yeah, she's a little like not protective, but like she wants to know who are you and why are you here. Can I trust you or not?
Yeah, Katie's like the type to like if we're at a restaurant and they forgot garlic bread, Katie would be like, excuse me, you forgot the garlic bread?
I wouldn't be a Karen.
But like not in a sense of like that, but I'm just giving an example. But Katie is not afraid of standing up and speaking out for the rest of us when, you know, we first meet people or when we're out in a public place, which isn't a bad thing. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just a good balance because I know a lot of us are introverted. So yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I am a little... Well, the thing is, I am a little outspoken and blunt, but I know it's borderline rude. But sometimes I really can't help it. It's just because, like, that's, like, my first thought is, like, oh, and I don't mean to be rude. I just kind of, like, oh, they actually forgot some, like, or, like, they made it a little too spicy. Like, I wouldn't be, like... of course, like, that's something that we're paying for, so that's why I don't mind educating them, but I won't be a bitch like, excuse me, it's super spicy, but I'll be like, I'll be like, hey, sorry, like, the food's a little spicy. Hey, how y'all doing? The food's a little spice. Like, but I won't be like, this is disgusting, this is super spicy, we cannot eat it. Rude, leaving a bad review, because I've come from a place of working at customer service driven shit, fucking McDonald's, all these people being bitches to me, so I know how it feels like. But I guess when it comes to strangers, I can be a little intimidating. Anyways, but yeah, like, I've noticed, like, some people have told me that I have like a little bitchy face, but I feel like I've worked on it. I feel like I've been a lot nicer. I feel like I'm a little too nice nowadays. And, like, I feel like I've been getting a little taken advantage of, but I think that's just me. I think that's just, like, I think once you change as a person and you think about it, you're just like, shit, I got a little nice. But I'm still bitchy, of course. But, like, I feel like it's only when I need to be now. Like, I've learned to hold my tongue. But in terms of, like, a bitch once you get to know them, or mean once you get to know them, Kylie takes the cake.
She
does. Hands down.
She be eating the cake.
Yeah, Kylie, once you get to know her on a personal level and it's too late to back out, that's when you see her true colors.
Yep.
And, like, you know, by then it's, like, kind of weird to cut her off, you know? I'm just kidding.
She's mean in a way, like, she doesn't understand that it's mean.
Like, for example, like, we'll be telling her our problems, and she'll just be like, or she'll just be like, it's not that serious, dude.
I'll be wearing something, she's like, you're wearing that? And I'm like, I thought it was, like, a good outfit, but I guess not in her eyes.
Like, I don't really put on makeup a lot, so then the days I do, she'll be like, oh, you didn't really blend, huh? Or, you know, just some, like, you know, like, aggressive, like, shit like that, and it's just like, okay, sorry, like...
And it's worse because she doesn't even know she's being mean.
Yeah.
Like, she just thinks, like, she's just speaking out of her mind.
And she thinks she's being funny. But
even if you call her out on that shit, she'll be like, I don't know. Or be like, oh, sorry. Or
she'll say something dumb, like, oh, so you're up there. And we're just like, what the? Like,
well, okay, I can kind of... I'll take it, but
you have to.
you got
majority rule.
But I think for me, the reason why I can come blunt like that is because I'm comfortable with you guys, and that's where you guys will get to. I mean, not that I'm gonna be telling all of you guys watching like I hate you guys and why didn't you guys blend your eyeshadow? But I think once you guys get to really get to know me, you guys will start to see that personality kind of shine through. Not that I'm like that all the time. But it's just because when I'm really close to you, I usually will call you out on things that I noticed that are a little weird. So
our clothes and eyeshadows are weird?
No, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just really honest and I'm really blunt. Half of the time, I do know what I'm saying, but I can't. But I can't process it fast enough to sugarcoat it. Does that make sense? Like, okay, so like for example, okay, let's talk about your eyeshadow blending, whatever. Okay, so like for example, maybe when I'm looking straight at you, obviously I'm gonna say, oh, you didn't blend your eyeshadow, but in my head, what I'm really thinking is, oh, she didn't wear makeup for a while now. That orange though, but you know what, like.
How do you get that? Like, it would be nice to know your thought process to understand it.
That doesn't make it sound better.
Or like, let's just say like I put on like I don't know, let's just say black eyeshadow. She'll be like, that black eyeshadow though. It's like, you know, even though she might be complimenting me, I take that as like an insult because you know, I don't really wear makeup that often, and so like when she points it out, I was like, oh, is it bad? Is it good? And I'm just so used to her like insulting us. So I just take it as an insult rather than a compliment.
Well, okay. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'll stick to what I said earlier. Sometimes I'm talking way too fast for my mind to process things. So when it comes out, it's already being said, which is something that I'm gonna try to work on. But at this point, I also feel like it's what makes me
Me.
I wanted to say that. Like, luckily for Kylie though, like we're used to it, so we don't take it as either like, damn, like, I'm gonna think about it for the rest of my life. Like she's lucky that we don't think that.
Yeah. We used to, like, I mean, I used to take it really, like, personally, but I think we just all learned to kind of look at whatever sly comments we have to say to each other. We just kind of take it as a joke. Mm-hmm. Even when we apologize, we don't really apologize. We're just kind of like, oops.
Or, oh, my bad.
And, like, it feels like our siblings, like, we grew up from a really, like, tough love type of family. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you Asian sisters or brothers can definitely relate where, like, our parents never really showed us love, like the American standard way of love, and like they showed us their version of love because that's what their parents showed us, and so we never really grew up and like, oh, I'm so sorry, like it's like it feels like
I'm sorry, sister dear.
I could never say
we're never gonna say we love each other.
Yeah, and like we only if we do say it's like jokingly because it's like so cringy that we don't take it seriously.
Yeah. And like of course if you do that to your siblings, like by all means, like I'm like that's so lucky, that's but to us like it's just it sounds foreign, like it's like what the fuck.
Yeah. What do you want?
Yeah, like it sounds like they want something.
So all of a sudden you guys are like me now?
Yeah. What?
Why?
No, but I agree. I think it's because we're not used to that traditional quotation mark love. Saying things like sorry and thank you isn't really in our vocabulary with each other, but we show it, and it's being given, it's being said and done, even if we're not verbally saying it. Which you guys will get, and I'm sure a bunch of you guys can relate to that too. I mean, when was the last time you guys actually said, I'm sorry, you know, like, oh my god, just thinking about
I mean, like, I get if it was like something like legit, like where
true,
like you like totaled your sister's car or something like, or brother's car, then like dude, I'm so sorry, like obviously that's when, but if it's just something like, oh, like you like said something about my hair, like, oh, your hair's ugly, be like, oh, dude, my bad, I didn't know, you know, like
yeah.
Oh, that hurt you?
But and I think a lot of us can just feel more comfortable saying these little subtle things, and especially like when it comes to even like gifts, like we're really weird with that. Like we're not like typical people where they're like, I buy you this. Like we'll just be like, oh, here, and we're like, oh, I saw this, oh, here, and like it's like just like we're really like strange in that way. But we're gonna go ahead and go to the next question because we got dragged it on. But the next question is, who's the nicest sister? Just to kind of balance the whole.
Just say my name.
Okay, I'm
different
nice. There's different nice.
This is Jasmine, by the way.
There's different nice. I feel like the standard of nice, like the person I think of who like I would want to define the family like for people to
look at me.
No, for people to know is I would point to Jasmine, of course. Jasmine literally is the rock of our family. Like, if Jasmine breaks, like, then our family kind of breaks because she's really. She's
the foundation.
Yeah, she's the foundation. She's like right in the middle. True, she don't be wearing makeup. But yeah, I feel like Jasmine is the core of the family, and like if she speaks up about something or puts someone in their place or says something,
that's really, when you know that you fucked up.
And she's that's really out of character for Jasmine, and so that's when like we know like, oh shit, this is like for real, and that's when we would like tell Jasmine like, hey, like what we got to do to like help you out, because I mean, I'm always ready for a fight, so I'm just like, it's up to y'all, and I always wait for like one of them to kind of start like the initiative.
Oh, like I'm just like kind of adding on, but I feel like for Jasmine, from an outsider's point of view, because she's very introverted, a lot of people kind of tend to overlook her, and so I feel like that's why whenever Jasmine does speak out, it's like, oh wow, I didn't know like you had this within you, and so I feel like whenever like because Jasmine keeps to herself and she's very like drama free, she doesn't like dramas, and so whenever she does like that's why, as Katie mentioned, whenever Jasmine does call someone out on their BS, it's because you've like really stepped over your boundaries, and it's time that you take a step back and reflect on what you did. And I'm not saying that Jasmine's like perfect, because she does, mess up sometimes too. But I feel like Jasmine is like the person that, I don't know how to explain it. Like, everyone goes to basically. And so if the person who has your back usually is telling you that you've messed up, that's when you know that you're like, okay, maybe I truly did mess up, and I need to look back on what I did and apologize or whatever.
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of plays a role when it comes to that, because I've seen all of us represent kindness in a way where I find it justified. Because I mean, obviously you think like, okay, no thought to it, just say it. Obviously it's Jasmine. She's basically the middle child of all of us. So she is young enough to still sympathize with the younger ones, but she's old enough to understand what we're going through as adults. So she's right there in the middle, which can be a disadvantage at times. But I do notice that for us as a family and as siblings, it's an advantage. And I don't think I give her enough credit because, it's a lot to be in the middle of having to still hold it down for everyone, but, still be an individual yourself. So initially you think Jasmine, but I think all of us kind of play a role when it comes down to it. I've seen all of us kind of shine at moments. Like, for example, Katie took it for the team. I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but Katie flew out to Wisconsin when many of us couldn't. For a continuation of my dad's funeral. I'm not going to get into it like I said, but I know she went through a really traumatic time there, and she was in distress, and I can't thank her enough, and sometimes it's even awkward for us to talk about it because it was so traumatic for her. So so like, for example, you see these little moments that like we've gone through. We're all basically kind, and we make up this like family as a whole. But yeah, all of us, I'm not gonna go into detail, I'm not gonna bore you guys. I guess all of us, but initially if you want to give it a name, I guess I could say Jasmine.
Like, we're all, like what Kylie said, we're all really nice in some ways. Like, we're all really nice. Like, once you get to know us, we're all really nice people. Like, trust me. Like, if we were to see you and you were to come up and be like, "Hey, sis," then of course we will be like, "Oh my god, like, we're happy to meet you," and like we're all give you like our like best attention. But in terms of like family wise, this is what we're talking about. Like, we're like about like the nice and bitchiness, but we're not gonna show that bitchiness to just everyone.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna come up to you and say, "Oh, your eyeshadows not blended."
Yeah, I'm not gonna come up to you and be like, "Don't come up to me."
I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Like, okay, but then the next question is who got into the most fights?
We already know.
Honestly, I feel like I didn't get a lot of attention, so like, why'd you guys have to bring this up? You got. Jasmine got her little spotlight, the nicest. You got your bitchy spotlight. Kylie got bitchy spotlight. And there's me. Like, they're like, oh, this bitch just fights.
The most mature sister.
Yeah, okay. The one.
No.
Okay.
Well, let's continue it. Let's continue it.
The next question.
They need to know.
Okay. It's just because we're talking about, well, like, I wanted to go like not from good to bad, good to bad.
Let me just continue your question.
Yeah,
It'll be a quick.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. It's just me.
But,
me.
It's just. Me and Katie.
Yeah, we fight a lot.
We fought a lot. Honestly, we fought at least once a day.
Yeah.
When we were younger. And
it will be rare to see us not fight.
Yeah, and like my mom would always tell us, just wait until you guys are older. You guys are gonna miss each other once you guys move out. And we're like, hell, I fucking hate that bitch or whatever. But honestly, I guess my mom knew a little something. But honestly, like, it took a lot of, like, as the oldest to me, like, I know this is, like, some BS, but it's, like, I'm not going to respect her because she should show me respect because I'm the oldest. But, that's a bunch of bullshit because respect is earned and not given. Mm-hmm. So, like, it took me having to swallow my pride a little bit for me to understand Katie and for Katie to understand me. And I think that was, like, the biggest stepping stone of our lives. And I think same goes to Katie too. She realized how important family was, and even though she instigated a lot of them, like I did give in too. So it's not just her fault. I have to take part of the blame too.
Going from what Kashia said, we fought a lot, and it wasn't just the verbal fights were bad as fuck. Like, we would put each other down to the point where I kind of cry sometimes when I think about it. And, when we fight, we would fight. Like, I would scratch her, and she would see, marks all over her, and she would, slap me in my back. And, we would, go from one room to another, and it was just really crazy. And thinking about it, I don't really know why we fought a lot. It was just over,
I think just little petty shit, you wanted to, I wanted to be the teacher, or you didn't want to be my student, or you wanted to be Kylie's student, and then nobody wanted to be,
And, I think it's just, the lack of respect I had for Kashia. I just didn't see her as my older sister because she didn't act like an older sister, though.
Okay, you didn't act like a younger sister, bitch. You want to talk about roles? You didn't play yours well.
Okay, well.
You even admitted to me. Yeah, I knew that I was instigating.
Okay, but then back to the main point. I think what really changed me and what made me really respect Kashia was, I forgot when you wrote it, but during Christmas, I think, about the letters. She wrote these fucking letters, and my letter was I hope you change, and I still have hope for you. And I was damn, this bitch got hope for me when I ain't got hope for myself. And that's so fucking sad.
Oh really? Oh damn, I didn't write that down.
Yeah, bitch.
No, but then
I thought so low of myself. So when to see someone talk so highly of me, I was like, what the where is this coming from? How do you see how could you see me becoming better when I don't even see myself becoming better? So
and out of all our sister relationship, you and me had the worst.
I was I didn't expect this coming from you. Maybe Jasmine, because me and Jasmine live with dad, but I was coming from you. You saw both both sides of me living with mom sometimes, me living with dad sometimes. So I was just I hate this bitch. So why the fuck is she telling me that I can be better when when I expected her to be dude, I hope you just respect me. And she wrote me something nice. So I think that's what made me really respect her and made me realize of course
I know.
Well, of course,
so all I needed to fix our relationship was a letter.
Basically, letters fix it. Well, it just goes back to us not being able to really talk to each other as healthy people and healthy adults. But of course now I think we've changed so much. I think we could just tell each other oh, you were kind of mean the other day, and we're oh, sorry about that, and we'll kind of think about it, reflect it, and not bring it up again. But I think of course Gashia and I did fight a lot, but there was a phase where you and Jasmine fought too. But
I don't really remember me and Kylie's fights though.
Really remember.
I forgot when, but when you guys fought, it was pretty bad.
Awkward.
Yeah, it was awkward. It wasn't ooh, I'm gonna take this side. It was more ooh, I don't want to get into it. Yeah.
To be honest, I think out of everyone, me and Jasmine don't fight often. I feel when we do fight, it is pretty big, but it's solved. Okay, let's just get it out of the way. Our fights don't last too long. They don't. At the most a day or two, and then like I said, then we end up eating out and going.
We'll pop into each other's and be you kind of hungry?
Yeah. So I just want to get it out of the way that it's not as bad as you think when we talk about our fights. They don't last long. They don't usually mean too much to us. Not saying that it doesn't, but I don't think me and Jasmine fought a lot. I would have to give that award to you two. Not in a bad way. It obviously you two have the best relationship development, growth. So I give it to you guys. It's you should be proud to accept the award. You were a little nervous accepting it, but it's a good one.
But okay, next question will be, who is the most mature, wise, and who would we say is is technically the oldest in the family? Because there's always
that word gives to me
the mom of the siblings.
Okay.
And of course, we would give that to Kashia. I do see Kashia.
Yeah.
I'm textbook.
No, as the oldest, myself, like I said, growing up, I was a rebel, probably the one with the most rebel phase, and I accept it, and I I've taken full responsibility of it. It's not something I obviously am proud of, but also something that I look back at so that I don't become that person again. And I'm also not ashamed to acknowledge that I think Kashia is a really great role model for the rest of our siblings, and she's picked up so much. Yeah, she's picked up a lot of slack for me, and I like I said, I can't thank her enough for doing that for me. And not saying that I hope she continues doing that, but I hope that in time, like I can be just as great as she is, or she can help me too, so that we can, obviously be best or the greater oldest for our siblings. So I do give that word to Kashia. I'm not gonna lie. I do think she's a little bit more mature than me most of the time.
Agree. I do see Kashia being like the mom of the family, because there are some times where we don't want to do something and she kind of picks up for us, like cook, like she always be cooking for us. And like even if she cooks for us, but she's like, even though she doesn't want to, like she'll still do it, because like she knows that we hungry, and she knows that she's like one of the best cook between our family. I mean, I'm sorry she brought up, but like you never know how to cook mac and cheese.
First of all, White Castle doesn't cut it.
The correct minutes.
Microwave it.
How many minutes get you the perfect crust? Yeah, bitch.
Minutes by heart.
Yeah, bitch. Watch out. I'm coming for the title. But yeah, I guess she is.
Okay, first of all, we're all pretty much good cooks.
Yeah.
We all kind of, except for Jasmine. Yes, sorry.
She was kind of sheltered food wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like since us three were like the oldest, we kind of
Yeah, someone was
sheltered
bound to
them.
cook.
Yeah.
It was rarely fallen upon Jasmine.
Yeah,
And
but
that's just that too, but I feel like us three older sisters be really sheltered, like my younger siblings, because we just didn't want them to experience the same things that we did before they were born. But back to Kashia being like the oldest, like the mom of the siblings, she always thinks about us before she does anything. Like she freaking she wanted to hold herself back from going to Korea because she was thinking about us and what we would go through during the time. But like I was like, dude, it's fucking Korea. Like, go study abroad. And even like now, like she wants to go, study abroad and do something, like be like a teacher. But I don't know if you were comfortable with me saying that, but
I don't care.
yeah, she wants to teach abroad.
I feel like it's fine because they don't know where I'm gonna go.
So like our address.
Address and our phone number, but yeah, I know she's uncomfortable with the idea of leaving the nest, but of course she always just thinks about us, and I think that's what really holds her back sometimes. Is you just know just how much she cares about us, even if it's through letters.
My off topic, but on topic kind of ish. But my friends even told me the same thing, that I need to like be a bit more selfish. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll start.
Yeah,
She was starting.
She do be selfish now. True, you do be in your room.
Okay, so I take a piece of advice and y'all gonna like put it on me?
Okay, but anyways, the next question will be. Oh, I don't know.
Bye. What?
Black girl.
Okay, with that, our last and final question, since the hour is coming up, is what are we most excited about for Sis to Sis podcast, as to like where it's going to progress or topics, and just a little sneak peeks about what we will be talking about. So let's go ahead and start with Kylie.
So obviously I'm just excited in general to start this podcast, just because I feel like we have so much to say, and honestly we're really funny people, so I'm always thinking like, man, like, are we funny people, funny like to other people too?
We'll make it.
Like, yeah. So I just hope that you guys truly enjoy this. I hope that it makes you guys laugh or smile, gives you guys something to think about. And on that note, I think one thing I'm really excited to talk about is kind of connecting with you guys. I want to know what you guys want to talk about. Like, obviously it's one thing to ask us what we want to talk about, but like what you guys want to talk about. I'm super excited to just kind of connect with a lot more people, and just to maybe one day hear someone say, oh, that podcast was really great. I really like that you said this and this. I really like that you guys touched upon this and this. But I'm excited to talk about anything, to be honest. I'm just excited in general. So, anyone else?
I think I'm excited. I'm just looking forward to anything because, you know, if I think about like the lighthearted things, of course I'm excited to, you know, like take a break from the reality of things. But I'm also like looking forward to speaking about the heavier topics and the more touchy topics, because I feel like that's what makes a relationship is, you know, being vulnerable and talking about your vulnerabilities. But yeah, that's just me.
Okay. I'm also really looking forward to talking about like our individual interests and our interests together as like siblings. I think that's where we really shine, because we are really passionate about the things we like alone, and also really, really passionate about the things we enjoy together. So I love that. We have things that okay. We have things that we
It reminded me when we went up there and they were like, Johnson, you're okay? She's like, no.
We have okay. We have things that we like individually, and we also have things that we're really passionate about. When just whatever. I'm excited. Okay, yeah, just whatever we have is fine.
Okay. I hate that. I'll take it.
Just cut me off, you
I don't need my cola, Jerry.
Okay, hold on.
I think you got it.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to. Okay, hold on.
I think you got it.
So I'm looking forward to the things that we're gonna talk about together, especially our hobbies, our interests, because when me and my sisters get into something together, we hella get into it, and like we'll probably talk about it for like a month or two, or like so.
Like
your game history.
when we bought Animal Crossing together, we were addicted to that shit for a week.
No, almost a month.
Yeah. And then we slowly phased out of that, and then now we're into we've kind of been into anime. We lost it, but now that we've started watching anime together again, it's which we'll get to talk that, but
and then really want to talk about anime too. So if you guys have any questions about anime, like feel free to let us know. And I know a lot of you guys are kind of like anime's like kind of like childish. Like, don't say that. But anyways, what I would like to I would like to end off with this podcast about what I want from this podcast is I'm just really happy to be doing this podcast with my sisters. I think that's what I kind of wanted to do anyways. I felt kind of awkward talking by myself because I was going to do one by myself. But I just realized that I was missing, like, communication with others. And I think that was, like, the most important thing was just having people to talk to and just bounce ideas to. And I'm surprised my sisters actually wanted to do it, especially Kylie, because, like, she always says, like, no to, like, every idea. But yeah, I'm just really excited to just talk with my sisters and actually record them so that you guys can feel comfortable with us and get to know us a little more. And I'll be posting the rest of our podcast on a separate YouTube channel. I just wanted to put the first episode on my YouTube channel just so that you guys know that I'm going to be having a podcast. So if you guys are interested in listening to more of us talking and us arguing, debating sometimes, then go check out Sis and Sis YouTube channel, Sis to Sis YouTube channel. And yeah, we're super excited to go on this journey with you guys. I hope you guys got to know a little bit about us for this very first episode. I know we were a little awkward in like the first 15-20 minutes, but I'm sure, as you guys can tell, we're really comfortable now, and we're just really excited to like see what goes on from now. And what Kylie said too, I hope this podcast brings a little comfort to you guys and makes you guys feel a little more like at like, I don't know, like talking to a sister or a friend. So yeah, we're really excited, and I hope you guys enjoyed our very first episode, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. See you guys next time.
All right, bye.